Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're heading over to Kōiwa.
Hmm.
That's in Edoagawa Ward, way out on the eastern edge of Tokyo, right up against Chiba Prefecture.
Yeah, the Juja area, for anyone keeping track of Tokyo geography.
Exactly. And Kōiwa right now, it's got this really fascinating vibe, you know? It's part old school Tokyo, that Shōwa retro feeling.
Finally.
But then you've also got this huge redevelopment happening, like right around the station. It's quite the contrast.
It really is. And that contrast, that tension between the old and the new, that's exactly why we wanted to dig in here.
Yeah.
Our goal today is kind of peel back those layers, look past just what you see now, and uncover some surprising history. Maybe find some hidden gems for visitors looking for something, well, authentic.
And speaking of surprising,
Yeah.
get this. Kōiwa apparently had this nickname way back when that just completely flips how you might see it now. They called it the Eastern Ginza.
Yeah. The Eastern Ginza. And look, this wasn't just like some local boosterism or wishful thinking. No, our sources are pretty clear. Back in the 70s, its peak, Kōiwa was genuinely the biggest entertainment district in that whole eastern part of Tokyo.
Bigger than Kinchichu.
Even bigger than Kinshichu, yeah. More high-end clubs, more nightlife.
Wow. Okay, let's unpack that a bit. The luxury level. We read hostess salaries were basically on par with actual Ginza.
That's right, which is incredible.
But the thing that really got me was the cost of going out. Set menus for 5,000 yen.
Mm-hmm.
You have to remember, back then, a typical salaryman might only be making 10,000 yen for the entire month.
Exactly. So 5,000 yen for one night. That tells you this wasn't just your average neighborhood bar scene. This was serious luxury.
So what kind of places were these?
We're talking high-end clubs serving like proper sashimi platters alongside your drinks, not just snacks.
Okay.
And this whole boom, it was really fueled by wealthy people coming in from nearby areas in Chiba, like Funabashi, Yawata.
Yeah, okay. So before the transport links changed things.
Precisely. Before the Subu Line rapid service started bypassing Kōiwa, before the Toei Shinjuku line went in, those changes basically rerouted all that money straight into central Tokyo, and Kōiwa's Ginza era started to fade.
It's wild to picture that level of glitz in what feels like a pretty quiet area now. But even before that 70s boom, Kōiwa had this rougher side, right? Stemming from the post-war period.
Oh, absolutely. You have to talk about the Kōiwa Venice Market.
Okay, Venice Market. Sounds picturesque.
Well, about that, the name is deeply ironic. This is a post-war black market, popped up around 1946.
Right after the war.
Yeah, the Venice part. It's because the whole thing was built on rickety wooden planks
Yeah.
directly over this open drainage ditch.
Oh, wow. Okay, not quite the canals of Italy, then.
Not quite. It was apparently pretty precarious, had about 30 or so businesses crammed in there. It lasted for years until 62.
Why'd they get rid of it?
Mostly sanitation concerns, building over a ditch and fire risk. It was just considered unsafe eventually.
And is there anything left of it? Like, can you see where it was?
Just one tiny trace, really. There's a little shrine, the Sujingu Shrine, on the Showa-dori shopping street.
Okay.
It survived because it happened to be located right at the end of where that market's waterway or ditch was. That's the only physical marker left.
Fascinating. And there was another infamous spot from that era, too, wasn't there? Something called the Tokyo Palace.
Ah, yes, the Tokyo Palace. The sources call it a great pleasure land in the countryside. Quite the description.
Sounds intriguing. And this was connected to the RAA, right? The Recreation and Amusement Association.
That's correct. Yeah, the REA facilities were set up, often controversially, during the post-war occupation period.
Right. Often associated with, let's say, certain kinds of entertainment.
Exactly. The building itself, the Tokyo Palace, was originally, believe it or not, a watch company's dormitory. Then it got converted into this massive dance hall. There are even these local stories, sort of anecdotal, about women lining up outside in swimsuits for some kind of occasional sports days they held there.
Seriously. Swimsuits. Okay.
Yeah, it's quite the image, but like the Venice Market, it's long gone now. There's just a Japan post-housing complex on the site today, completely erased.
It's amazing how these layers of history exist, from rough black markets to glitzy clubs. But Kōiwa's identity isn't just about that, is it? There's a much deeper connection to nature and older traditions, too.
Absolutely. If you want to understand Kōiwa's soul, you have to move beyond the 20th century stuff. We need to talk about places like Zenyoji Temple.
Zenyoji Temple, also known as Kōiwa Fujisan. What's the big draw there?
The tree. It's all about the Yugo no Matsu, the sumo pine tree.
The sumo pine. Okay, love that name. Tell me about it.
Well, first off, it's visually stunning. It's a natural monument, supposedly over 600 years old.
Wow.
And it has the largest spread of any pine tree in Japan. Its branches cover something like 800 square meters of ground. It's huge.
Incredible. But why sumo? Is there a connection?
Oh, there's a great story. Back in the late 70s, early 80s, there was this big public debate, almost a rivalry, between this pine in Kōiwa and another famous pine down in Kagawa Prefecture. They held a sort of Japan's #1 pine tree contest.
No way. A pine tree contest?
Yep. And it got pretty heated, apparently. So much so that they actually brought in a real official grand sumo referee, a Guji, to settle it.
You're kidding. What did he rule?
He declared it a tie. He basically promoted both trees to the highest rank in sumo, Yokozuna.
That's amazing. So it's officially a Yokozuna pine tree.
Officially Yokozuna. And it ties in nicely because the temple's founder, a figure called Kasugano Oyakata, was actually the son of a local umbrella maker. So there's this deep-rooted connection to sumo culture there.
That's such a cool story. While you're at the temple, though, there's something much more somber to see as well, isn't there? A monument related to a volcanic eruption.
Yes, the monument for victims of the 1783 Mount Asama eruption.
Yeah, Asama. That's quite far from Kōiwa. How are they connected?
It's about the rivers. The eruption was catastrophic, and tragically, many victims' bodies were washed down the Tone River system, eventually reaching the Edo River right here in Kōiwa.
Oh, wow.
The local community at the time took responsibility for recovering and burying the remains. So this monument isn't just history, it's a testament to the geography of the place, the power of the river, and also the compassion of the people living here centuries ago. It really connects you to the landscape.
That's incredibly powerful. Okay, moving from the temple. What about Kōiwa Shrine? That's the main local shrine, right?
That's right, the general protector of the area, established way back in 1536. And it has some really neat specific features you might miss if you didn't know to look.
Like what?
Well, there's the Waraku stone. It's this rock that's naturally shaped almost exactly like a traditional straw sandal owaraji.
Huh. And people pray to it.
Yeah, specifically for things like leg health or for success in sports. It's a really specific, lovely local tradition.
That's charming. What else?
And right near it, there's the Asama Shrine. But it's not a building. It's actually a small man-made mound called a Fujizuka.
A Fujizuka? Like a mini Mount Fuji.
Exactly. It's a replica mound of Mount Fuji. The idea was that locals could perform the important religious act of a Fuji pilgrimage.
Right. Climbing Mount Fuji.
Without actually having to travel all the way there. They could do their symbolic ascent right there in the neighborhood shrine. It shows how deeply embedded these folk religious practices were.
Yeah, it's incredible dedication.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't just religious figures finding meaning here, right? There's a literary connection, too.
There is, yeah. The famous poet Kitahara Hakushu lived in Kōiwa around 1916.
Okay.
He even named his house the Shinsosha, which means purple smoke house, apparently inspired by the local scenery, maybe the river mists or something.
Purple Smokehouse. Nice.
And also, maybe more relatable for some listeners, the author Seitu Hiroshi, he wrote the really popular children's book series, Rudolph and Ipaetena.
Oh, yeah, the cat stories.
Those ones. His former home is apparently near one of the smaller local shrines, Kami-Kōiwa Tenso Shrine. So Kōiwa clearly sparked something in writers and artists, too.
Okay, so we've got this incredibly rich tapestry. Black markets, luxury clubs, ancient pines, mini Fujis, poets. What does this mean for someone visiting Kōiwa today? If you're doing a walking tour, where should you head to kind of soak this all in?
Well, you definitely have to experience the Kōiwa Flower Road shopping street. It's the biggest covered arcade, the Shutengai, in the whole ward.
That sounds like the heart of the neighborhood.
It really is. It gives you that vibrant local energy. And nearby in Kōiwa Park, check out the Kote. It's this beautiful, purely Japanese-style building used for local events.
Kotate.
Yeah, and the name Kōiwa itself actually comes from an ancient village name found in records dating way back to the Nora period. So even the names connect to deep history.
Cool. And I guess seasonally there's the Iris Garden, too.
Oh, yeah, the Kushoshituen down by the Edo River. If you're there in June, you'll see something like 50,000 irises blooming. It's supposed to be spectacular.
Nice. But what about that Showa retro vibe we mentioned? Are there places that really capture that surviving charm?
Oh, absolutely. Top of the list has to be Kise Hakuchu.
The cafe, right?
Yeah.
From 1975.
That's the one. It's like stepping back in time. famous for its distinctive arch design motifs. You see arches in the windows, the mirrors, the booths.
And it still has.
Yes, it still has a working, vintage, tabletop Space Invaders game machine.
No way. That's amazing.
You can sit there, have your coffee, maybe play some Space Invaders, and just watch the world go by outside the station window. It's a perfect little time capsule.
Okay, adding that to my list. What about food? Need some fuel for exploring all this history.
Definitely check out Boulangerie Bass. It's a really popular local bakery.
Bass run by a musician, is that right?
Yeah, apparently the owner juggles baking with his music practice. Impressive stuff.
What's the must-try there?
He's really pushing his signature bread as, like, the Kōiwa specialty. It's called walnut red bean cream cheese bread.
Ooh, that sounds like an interesting combo.
It is. It uses a less sweet red bean paste, paired with rich Hokkaido cream cheese and walnuts. People rave about that salty, sweet, savory mix. It's a great example of a local spot creating a unique identity.
Okay, noted. And finally, for anyone interested in maybe picking up some unique souvenirs or just browsing maybe some vintage clothes.
Then you want Watts UP Kōiwa main store.
Watts UP.
Yeah, it's sort of the local flagship for used clothing. They specialize in what they call good regular vintage, meaning affordable, accessible stuff. Think like 90s Ralph Lauren shirts, good quality denim, that kind of thing. Not super high-end, rare collector pieces, but just cool, wearable vintage at decent prices. It fits that unpretentious local Kōiwa vibe perfectly. Yeah. So when you put it all together, you see this incredible journey, right? Kōiwa starts as this, relatively rural town on the edge of Edo, famous for a giant pine tree.
The Yokozuna pine.
It's a Yokozuna pine. Then it explodes into this unexpected nightlife hub, the Eastern Ginza, and then it settles back into being this friendly, slightly retro neighborhood, but it still holds on to these amazing cultural artifacts, these little shrines, these cool old cafes. It's quite the evolution.
It really is. It makes you want to walk around with all these stories in mind. You mentioned the Greenway earlier.
Yeah, the Shimakōiwa Shinsui Greenway.
Walking along that path, knowing it was built right over the ditch where that crazy Venice market used to be, that adds a whole new dimension. History literally under your feet.
Exactly.
But, as you also mentioned right at the start, there's that huge redevelopment project around JR Kōiwa Station. It's been going on since the late 2010s, right? Things are changing fast.
They are. And that really brings us to the final thought, doesn't it? With all this modernization, all the new buildings going up, you have to wonder, which parts of Kōiwa's incredibly rich, sometimes wild cultural history, the stories of the black market, the fancy clubs, the sumo pine, these unique little shops, which parts will the modern town manage to keep alive, and which parts maybe will soon only exist in memories and in the kinds of stories we've talked about today?